So if you want a six pack, do not train your abs. You've probably heard this a bunch of times, and I've been hearing it more and more lately. And I'm not sure why a bunch of people are going around and spreading this information because it's bullshit. You absolutely do need to train your abs if you want to get that nice 3D popping six pack. If you have a body type, I guess anything like mine, anything like a normal human being, your abs are not something that's developed, right? A lot of us don't have core strength because in the modern age, we don't really move around or lift things like we used to. And there's people who will tell you, oh, all you need to do is compound lifts in the gym and you don't really need to worry about, actually training the abs specifically, but it's just false. At least for me, in my experience, it hasn't worked, right? So for me, I've done all the compound movements, I've improved my core strength, and that was great. But for me, what happened was on my cut, I didn't really notice my abs. I was losing a bunch of weight. I was losing a bunch of fat. I was getting lean. I was really proud about that. And I'm really excited to actually get to the point where I could have a six pack. Like this is what I had envisioned and kind of been striving for years. And what happened was I got down to this point where I lost a ton of body fat. And what happened was I didn't really have a six pack. Like you could kind of see the outline of it. It was kind of there. And I was wondering, like, dude, I've been losing a lot of weight. Like, where is the six pack? And so what I realized was I haven't been training my six pack this whole fucking time. All this time I've been training, it's been very infrequent that I would actually be focused on training my six pack. And so all that time I've been training, I've been building up other muscles, but I hadn't really been progressive overloading the six pack, right? Or overloading the abs, excuse me. So if you want to actually get a six pack that's 3D, that's like carved out, and it doesn't just look like that kind of skinny boy abs, right? Like that kind of look where someone has abs, but it's just because they're skinny, not because they actually built muscle. If you don't want that to happen, then you need to actually intentionally train abs because it's just like anything else in life that you want, right? When you're trying to actualize something into reality, you have to put your intention there and you have to have a desire to get there. And so with the abs, it's no different. You have to really focus on putting intention on the abs and actually prioritizing them. It's the same thing as if you go into the gym and you talk to a lot of people, hey, I'm trying to, build my shoulders, or hey, I'm trying to get like a better chest or whatever. And you watch them and see what they do. And interestingly enough, what do? They do everything else except that thing that they're trying to improve upon or that they say they're trying to improve upon. So it makes no sense if you actually want to improve your abs, right? If you want to make them bigger, that you don't focus on them. So it's really important to put time and energy into them. And one of the best ways I found, and one of the best ways I overcame this obstacle of, losing a bunch of fat, but I didn't really have a defined six pack. It was just still kind of hidden. And I did need to lose a little bit more weight, that is true, but I also need to really focus in on building it, right? And actually progressive overloading and putting more weight on it. And so one of the best things that worked for me was focusing on ab exercises and just starting out with body weight, right? If you're someone in the gym right now, or maybe you're thinking about going to the gym, or maybe you work out from home, one of the best things that you can do is just start doing body weight ab exercises. Now, personally, my favorite ones are the hanging leg raise, which you can look up online. It's called the hanging leg raise. If you can't do that, you can do the hanging knee raise. Or you could do, if you're in the gym, you find like what's called the captain's chair raise, you could do that. Those are great exercises to get your abs stimulated and begin the growth because your abs are not used to lifting up your legs. They're not used to lifting up anything really. So you can start with that. And then the next thing I used that really helped me get a sort of a carved out sort of look and a more defined sort of six pack was doing what's called cable crunches. Now, you don't have to do cable crunches if you don't like them or if it hurts your back, you could find a different exercise. But for me, these are pretty easy because my gym has a lot of cable machines. And so it's just easy to hook up the extension rope for your triceps and just do like the curls using your abs, right, as you're kneeling on the ground. And for me, that really helped because I was able to actually push the weight up over time, right? You're actually able to increase the weight. Whereas with the hanging leg raise, you can, but it's a little bit more difficult because you might have to, attach a band to your legs or try to hold something in between your feet as you're going up. So that's what I like to do, and that's what helped me break through my plateau. Now, there are other exercises that I did, but those were the two core ones, a body weight and a weighted exercise specifically for your abs. So what I did to overcome this kind of condition that I was in was to actually train 2 or 3 times a week, okay? Every other muscle, and if you've been online watching videos, you know this already, and maybe you don't. it's ideal to stimulate the muscles that you're trying to grow, right? And you're trying to get what they call hypertrophy, or you're trying to grow those muscles 2 times a week. That's the ideal thing. So, for example, you're trying to grow your chest. Okay, work on your chest twice a week. There's no reason why you need to work abs every day. I also see this is another thing that makes no sense to me. People are telling you, hey man, work your abs every day. Give yourself 30, 40, 50 reps and work them out every day, high intensity. And it's like, why? Like, why do we need to do this? This makes no sense. It's literally, here's what I think. All right, I'm gonna give you the honest truth. I gotta hydrate. I'm getting too hyped up here talking about abs. Okay, so I think the main reason why you see this, and there's all this crazy 30, 40 reps, you need to be training every single day, bro. I think what's going on is this is just a marketing tactic, because think about abs, like think about the 6-pack. That is something that is very desired by a lot of people, by most people. Most guys and even women, right? They want a flat stomach. They want even like a very defined sort of outline of the abs. That's something that's very desired by a lot of people. And so what happens is marketers come up with a bunch of different ways to market how to get that thing to you. When in reality, it's pretty simple, right? You need to train your abs. You need to actually lose enough fat to see those abs. And that's it. You have a 6-pack. So a lot of people will come up with these new ways and inventions of trying to market to you abs, when really it just comes down to the basics, right? It comes down to the basics, and it comes down to being consistent with those basics. The other thing that it really comes down to is it's not just simply about taking the actions, right? If you find yourself unable to take the actions, or you don't really feel motivated, your desire for things in life, this is for anything I think that you're trying to actualize, I believe your desire is the key to actually, the idea starts up here, right? It always starts up here. And then your desire for that thing, your thoughts connected with your emotions, is what drives you to take the action. So if you find yourself unable to lose fat, right? If you find yourself unable to get lean, or unable to stay consistent in the gym, or unable to, not completely binge out on junk food every single day, the problem isn't the tactics. It's not the physical actions that you're taking, right? The problem is there's a disconnect between here and here. There's a disconnect between your thoughts and your mind and your emotions. Because when I got my thoughts and my emotions connected together, and I got them on the same page and aligned, I was able to make insane progress. Right? I was able to literally transform my entire physique, lose fat, build muscle, build an aesthetic physique. Like, I was able to do all that within a pretty short period of time, right? Like, I was able to literally transform everything. And that was with all the mistakes I was making. That was with all the mistakes that I was making along the way. I still was able to do it at a pretty decent pace, because my desire was so strong and my purpose was so absolute that nothing was going to get in my way. I was not going to let anything stop me. And I was going to the gym 6 days a week, which was really pushing it. It was a lot. But I needed to do that for a time to really get myself locked in, And so my point in telling you all this is that if you are struggling to, lose weight, if you're struggling to lose fat, get lean, and you really do want a 6-pack, a big part of the reason isn't because the tactics are wrong. So what these marketers are telling you, hey, it's because you're not doing 30 reps, or it's not really any of that. Because it really just comes down to the basics. And so the problem is your desire is not strong enough. Your desire is, your purpose is not serious enough. Your intent, and you're not determined enough to actually make this work. Now, it could be that you don't have the information that you need. You could be lacking information, or maybe there's one step that you're missing. But a lot of times it literally just comes down to, is your desire strong enough? And do you have support along the journey? That's another thing. Another reason why sometimes it takes a long time for you to get going where you want to go. And I figured this out just through random stuff that I've tried to do in life, is you don't have a support network. You don't have other people. You don't have someone who is where you already want to go, right? So there's a lot of factors that come into play when you're trying to achieve a goal like this, because it's not something that's easy. When you get down to 12% body fat, when you get down to 15% body fat, your body's like, all right, I'm done. Like, we're good here. This is the healthy range. When you start feeling yourself, and you're really hungry and you don't want to actually lose any more weight, that's pretty much where your body wants to stay. And so if you're really overweight right now, that's not something that you should listen to. But when you get down to the point where you've got a flat stomach, you can kind of see your abs, that's really ideal for where your body is. being in a six-pack condition all year round isn't necessarily the healthiest thing, depending on your genetics, of course, you know. And that's the other thing I want to mention is genetics. You might go through this whole process. You might implement everything that I'm telling you. You might get down to 10% body fat, and you don't have the ability, or your body isn't designed to be able to actually have like a really carved out six-pack, you know. But that's okay. It doesn't matter, because you've gotten as close as you can get to where you can go. And so it's really important that you just focus in on having that desire and making sure that your thoughts and your emotions are one, right? And a lot of people struggle with fat loss because it doesn't really have to do with the tactics. We all know about calories in, calories out. It's not so much about the tactics as it is your mindset and your emotions, because a lot of times people are overweight and they can't lose fat because there's some blockage going on within their life, right? Like for me, in my example, I was working a job that I was really like just not into doing, pretty depressed at. You know, my situation was pretty rough in terms of just a lot of like family stuff going on, and that caused an emotional response. Starting up here with the thoughts I was having, an emotional response that then put me on a path to end up in a position where I was unhealthy, where I was overweight, right? And so when I started to fix that, and I started to fix my emotions and all my desires and everything, that's when it all clicked. And then, honestly, it was kind of effortless after that, to be honest with you. Like, after I was able to connect those 2 points and figure out just some of the basic information I needed, everything just kind of flowed together. It was just a matter of time until I got where I wanted to go. It's just a matter of time until I lost that fat. Just a matter of time until I built that muscle and had the physique that I wanted to have. And so it continues to this day. You know, I'm just still doing my thing. Right now I'm on a bulk, and I'm just really working on my abs. One other thing I can say is when it comes to abs, if you are in the position right now where you live somewhere where it's cold, right, and it's wintertime, and you're not gonna have your shirt off, so people aren't really gonna see your abs, there can be this sort of feeling of, let me just relax, let me just take it easy, I'm not really worried about it because it's not summertime, right? I take the opposite approach and mindset of that, which is, it's wintertime now, so let's go hard now. Because if you go hard now and you train now, you're going to be able to build up those abs over the winter time. And then come summer, or come spring and summer, when you're trying to cut back down again for the summer and the beach or whatever, that's when you're going to be able to display all the work that you've done, right? So over the winter, I don't know where you are watching this video from right now. I'm in New England, which is like, you know, northeast United States, which is, it gets really cold. It's about to, actually it already did snow here yesterday, I think, November 1st it snowed. We already had our first like little bit of snow. So it's already getting really cold up here. But, you know, if you're in an area even where it's just like kind of mild temperatures and you're just not on the beach, anywhere where you're not on the beach, or even if you're on the beach, or even if you are on the beach right now, but it's not like high season, take this time to really hone in. Take this time to really focus on building your abs. Put that intention there. Have that desire to literally work on building your abs up by building muscle, right? And then come summertime, work on whittling it down. Depending on, of course, your situation. You might be in a situation right now where you really want to lose fat. For me, I've already gone through that whole process. And so I'm just in the position right now of trying to build more muscle and build my abs up even more. So if you want to get more serious about losing fat, getting lean, and becoming aesthetic, check out the first link in the description. I have a community link down there along with some workouts. All of it's free. I actually started this community just recently. And it's just for people who want to come together, who want to essentially talk about and have like-minded people to kind of connect with on their fat loss journey or on their journey to becoming aesthetic. There's also the option in there, if you want to work with me on a more personalized basis, if you want more personalized help, which I obviously am charging for, but the community itself is free. And I'm planning on, it's in the works right now, but I'm planning on building like a small sort of course, just condensed with all my knowledge in it, like a mini course just for people, and it's just going to be entirely free. So hop in there if you're interested, and I will see you in the next video.